I know it's been a while. Had a few things to tend to, so I haven't really been able to put out much video content. But here we are back again. And first cab off the rank, I wanted to talk about an article that I shared probably about 2 months ago now. It's been that long already, I know. Probably about 2 months ago. And the title of the article is Why There's Treasure in Those Trashy Headlines. Now, if you take a look at the videos that you've either got stored up under your watch later section, or you could even take a look through your video history and ask yourself what made you click on those videos. Sometimes it is because there's an eye-catching image on the video, or you typed something into the search bar specifically. But I wonder just now, how many of those videos did you click on, did you decide to watch because of the header? And that's what's key here, because a big part of writing articles or pieces that people actually read, it's in the headline. Writing emails that get opened, it's in the headline. And so what I'm talking about here is how to ensure that your content's getting watched, your content's getting read, and how to craft a headline that's going to do that job. And if you want to see how it's done, here's the trick. So the next time that maybe you're waiting at the servo or the newsagent or somewhere like that, take a look at the magazines that are currently on sale. It doesn't really matter whether we're talking just some trashy women's mag or some lad mag or anything like that, but just take a look at the way that the headlines are laid out, and then take a look at the language in those headlines. Because when you study those, there's the key to writing content that people are actually going to engage with. Because if it doesn't matter how well the content how well you've written your blog articles or your website or anything like that, if you don't have a method of getting people to pay attention to it, then your time's wasted and your effort's wasted, because people aren't going to read it. And we can learn something from those trashy magazines, because as deliberately provocative as their headlines are, or you think about online news sources like BuzzFeed, there's a great lesson there for you as well. As trashy as the headlines are and as emotionally manipulative as those headlines are, they work. Statistically, by all metrics, they work. People click on them. And yeah, time and again, you open the magazine or you click on the article and you just go, oh, I should have seen this one coming. But they don't care, because the fact is, you opened it, didn't you? You read it. And that's the trick. Now, when you take a look at these magazines, pay attention to the following, because there's a few different ways that they appeal to our base emotions and our desires. And see how many of these you can pick out when you do this exercise. So the first emotion they're tapping into is fear. Here's why you need to be worried about this. Here's how it can affect you, so you'd better listen up. Our news stations do this. Our current affairs programs do this. To a lesser extent, sort of online media publications do this as well, that aren't necessarily news and current affairs. But at the end of the day, they want you to be worried about something and to feel like the only way to safeguard yourself or to make yourself aware of this thing that you should be worried about is to read on. The second one is love. Now, what you'll notice is on our current affairs programs or even on our news bulletins, these generally come towards the end. There's some light-hearted story that's going to warm your heart, or a true story that will restore your faith in humanity. It's going to put a smile on your face. Because it can't just be all bad news. If it was all just bad news, then why would you tune in? They're very clever about this. And so these stories, again, these stories are meant to put a smile on your face and make you feel that little bit better about the world. So look out for those ones too. The next one is anger. Be outraged about this. Can you believe this actually happened? Let's face it, we live in an outrage culture. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there who, finding something new to be offended about, to be outraged about. It's their oxygen, and it's a desire that it's a thirst that can never be quenched. And like I said, it's unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate because we make a much bigger deal out of a lot of things that don't really need to even have much of a deal made about them in the first place. But you know, a lot of people are only going to do what the market demands, and the market currently demands outrage, so that's what they're going to fuel. And you see this again in, I'm not going to name them, but there's quite a few online publications that really milk this for all it's worth, and they know that there's an audience there for it. So keep an eye out for that one too. Next one on the list is pride. You know, here's how to stand out and be the only person in your friendship circle who has X, Y, or Z, or here's how to become a more attractive, influential, and irresistible person. And they're really tapping into that pride element in us. They want you to feel like by going on and reading the article or reading the piece that you're going to be a step ahead and you're going to be even more in the know than everybody else. It's kind of a guilty pleasure, isn't it? You know, like we're not supposed to have too big of an ego, but they're very clever with how they do this, because at the same time we want to believe that we're a cut above the rest. We want to believe that we're a step ahead, and that's what they're aiming for. Now, the last one to keep an eye out for is curiosity. So what's the secret that they don't want you to know about? Or here's this long-held mystery that's finally been revealed. We're curious people. Well, I think most of us are curious, but again, you look at these headlines and just look at how they tap into that need to know more, and they just leave you hanging. They don't quite reveal all, because they want you to click on the article, open the page, open the magazine, etc., etc. You see this in publications like BuzzFeed, for instance, like, you know, 28 awful tattoos, you won't believe number 6, and so of course you want to go through and take a look and see, you know, what's so awful about number 6, even if in the end it's something that you've seen a few times in real life, and it's just like, that's what it is. And you know you've been had, and you're a bit annoyed because you've just wasted 2-3 minutes of your time looking through it, but the fact is, again, they got you to click on the article, didn't they? So those are the 5 basic emotions that you tap into, that you can tap into when crafting headlines: fear, love, anger, pride, curiosity. And coupled with being able to craft a headline that's the ideal length and has the right percentage of power words or emotional words in it, see how the results change in terms of people reading your articles, people interacting with the content that you post, and see how that goes. Now, a tool that I recommend for this, it's called a Headline Analyzer, and you can look that up on Google or DuckDuckGo or on Firefox, anywhere like that. Just type in Headline Analyzer and it should come up pretty much top of the search. And what you can do there is you can craft headlines, and it will rate your headlines based on how many words it has, based on the percentage of impact words, emotional words, that sort of thing. And yeah, this is how you create headlines that sell. So I'm not saying that you should start writing trashy headlines, but you know, even if you laugh and you roll your eyes at so much of the sensationalism that comes out of our mainstream media, and even, you know, our online publications, our what they call alternative news sources, even if you scoff at those, there's something to learn there. If you can write actual quality content that taps into one of those 5 emotions that we talked about and gets people to want to read more, then it's a successful piece. Even more so if you can get people to interact, to take action how you want them to. So I'll leave you with that one today, guys. As always, there's going to be the article link just down below, and I'll also include a link to Headline Analyzer. How about I make it a bit easier for you? Aside from that, it's good to be back, and I will be sharing some more content in the very near future, so stay tuned for that. Share this article with anybody who is looking to have more people engage with the content that they're sharing, and see how it goes for them if they follow the steps that I've shared with you today. Otherwise, subscribe to my channel if you haven't had the incredible foresight to do that already. Keep an eye out for the videos that I've got coming up. Otherwise, I'll talk to you again very soon. Catch you later.